Howdy folks, Sandal Pipe here, and I'm coming at you with my ugly pipe, shot pipe that is, and some Dorchester, which I got along with some Pelican at Bull and Bear, and I don't think they have a website listed on here, but I'll put the phone number down in the description. They had, when I looked there, they had like 7 bags of Penzance, 8-ounce bags, and they do ship. I didn't pick any up because I wanted to leave them for you, so get on it. Anyway, I am coming at you for a couple of videos in the next little while here. This first one is for me to summarize my experience at the Chicago Pipe Show. Had a great time. Went with my wife and left the kids at our babysitters. It was the first time in 2 years that we've had a night, even a night alone, without kids. So it was a great time of refreshing. My wife spent a lot of time in the hotel room alone. Her choice. She would have rather done that than walking through pipes all day and sitting in a smoking tent absorbing secondhand smoke. So she really enjoyed her time without any interruptions and was able to get a lot of things organized. So that was great. They had on Friday night, on Friday night we went to Francesca's in St. Charles, a very nice fancy restaurant, Italian. And then we found out as we were heading out the door for that, they had a banquet at 7. And the banquet was pretty good too, not as good as Francesca's. They had all kinds of Sutliff. It was a Sutliff dinner. They had all kinds of Sutliff blends. And I picked up 2 tins of Fieldmaster as a result. Not bad. Not my favorite. But it's the best Sutliff I've tried yet. Then after that I went to the smoking tent. Hung out with Grant Batson a little bit. Spent some time with a couple of other people. Met Kevin Godby from the Pipes magazine and a whole bunch of famous people. Saw Tom Eltang, a whole bunch of different pipe makers. I was walking out of the banquet and met a guy who was heading over to the same place I was to the STEM material lecture, and that was really interesting. Done by SEM, the place that I source my ebonite from. After the presentation, I was utterly convinced that this is the highest quality material. I had a suspicion about it before, but I'm a firm believer in SEM ebonite now. And as I was walking over there, a guy walked up to me and said, "Hi, I'm Walt." And I said, "I'm Jeremiah." And I said, "Walt Kanoy?" And he said, "Yeah." "Like the Walt Kanoy?" "Yeah." And I was really blown away to meet him in such a, not even a bump in the road way, to meet with the person whose work I really admired. And so we got to talking a little bit afterwards, and then we spent the rest of the evening. He looked at my pipes and started giving me some critiques on them, which was very constructive, and he was very kind about it, and I had asked him to do so. But more on the critique later. I'm really encouraged. I got about a half a dozen pipe makers to critique my work, and I learned a ton. I feel like I've learned as much in the last 3 days as I have in the last 3 months working on by myself. So, all good. It was emotional. By the end of the day, I was a little bit tired out. But I was thankful for my friend John Leone 1, I believe, on YouTube, who had sent me an email prior to the show and said, don't let anybody talk bad about your work because it's good work. And I was holding on to that by the time the show was over. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. I'm going to do another video on how to take that. So, after Walt and I hung out in the smoking tent with a few other people, he invited me to go up to the smokingpipes.com. They have, the way the Chicago show works is they have a whole bunch of different events going on in the hotel rooms, and it's kind of like a big slumber party without the slumber part, and without as much of the party part either. So it was about midnight when I ended up in the Smoking Pipes room, and about 1:30 when they finally kicked us out. But that was my first experience ever in my life holding high-grade pipes, and I mean anything from Peter Heshen to Victor. Now I can't remember his last name. If I remember it, I'll put it in the description. I'm sure it'll come to me at some point. But he's the one that makes the really intricate figurine-like shapes with swoops and curves. Absolutely gorgeous work. And some Tom Eltangs and Bo Nord and everything smokingpipes.com that I'd seen on the website, that I'd looked at and drooled over, but never thought I'd even have a chance to hold it, and I got to hold them all in one night. So that was just fabulous. Next year, I think I'm going to head straight up there and spend some time studying the pipes, because there's a lot to learn just by looking at them. And by the time I was done looking at those pipes, I started to notice my pipes are not high-grade pipes, which I knew. I haven't told anyone that they're high grades, but I do want to move in that direction because I think I can do better than where I'm at right now. So my poor wife took a nap while I was up there, and then we slept in the morning. First time in a very long time that we slept in. Yeah, the kids are normally up at 6 at the latest, sometimes 5:30. So it was great to sleep in. And what do we do for breakfast? Oh, I bought a pound of bacon for breakfast. So I ate a pound of bacon. Didn't want to leave it in the car all day, so I ate a whole pound. It was great. And then we went to Walmart because my wife was not satisfied with the quality of my t-shirts, which you've probably seen and not been brave enough to comment before. So we got some new shirts. We also got some new clothes at a thrift store. Like this one here, it was at a thrift store, but the tags were still on it. So a brand new, really nice shirt. Anyway, we had a leisurely morning, and then right around 9,
within a block of the Pipes show, there's a Walmart, Target.
Why don't you tell? Come over here.
No. Well,
my wife wants to tell all of the women who are watching about why it's good to go to the pipe show.
if your husband does want to go within a block of the Pipe show, the nice resort that it's at, there's a Walmart, a Target, a huge mall, a Goodwill, and a Savers, and it's kind of a yuppie neighborhood, so it's a lot of name brand clothes at the stuff. There's also Panera Bread and Starbucks and things like that.
So you don't even have to go to the pipe show, but you can go along with your husband.
It's a lot of fun. So okay.
Anyway, that was more than I wanted to know, but maybe you wanted to know that.
Their wives would want to know.
Oh, your wives want to know that. So if you have wives, and if you have a wife, you all have wives, singular, hopefully, then tell them that they can go to the show and talk them into it by saying it's a shopping trip, and then you can go on your own shopping trip and buy pipes, and they can go on their shopping trip and buy clothes. It's all good. So, anyway, 9 o'clock, I sat down and chatted with a bunch of different guys, and 10 o'clock I got in and started walking around and looked at some really neat pipes. I won't tell you all the details because I did it for 4 hours. Before I took a break, and then I can't possibly tell you every detail. Pictures speak 1,000 words, and seeing these pipes is just indescribable. So, let's see. My main objective in going to the show was to meet with pipe makers and hear how they did their work and stuff like that. I met a really interesting guy in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, or not Eau Claire, Fond du Lac, called Joe Nelson. And he makes this volcano-like pipe with a hawkbill kind of bend on the stem. Looks really cool. And it's oldnellypipes.com in case you want to look him up. Chatted with him a little bit, let him critique my work, and learned a lot. Went over to Walt Kanoi's table, of course, and looked at his pipes again. They were just amazing again. And then I went a little bit further and met 2 Germans and a guy from the Czech Republic, all of whom I spoke German with, and it was great. And then later on I met Wolfgang Becker and talked with him a little bit. One of the Germans is he lives within a half an hour of where I used to live in Germany, and so we had even the same dialect. It was great. And he is the guy who does the curve drilling. He has such intricate shapes that if you tried to draw a straight line from the mortise to the bottom of the chamber, it wouldn't work. So he developed a system that you can actually drill in a curve with a flexible drill bit, and the engineering behind that is beyond me, but the pipes that result from it are quite amazing. So one of these days, I'm going to put that on my list. And met Michael Novak and a whole bunch of other nice pipe makers. And then my wife came, and we walked around and saw a bunch of Dunhills. I've been looking at some what C.S. Lewis and Tolkien smoked, and it appears they both smoked 1930s-ish campaign pipes. Maybe they were a little older than that. And they were both billiard shapes. So I'd been fascinated with it, and I was telling my wife about my fascination with this pipe, and then lo and behold, I picked up a pipe. It was a Dunhill, and I looked at it, and it was a 1930s pipe, very close to the campaign pipe in style. And I would have bought it, but it was above my budget, and I'd already set my eyes on a Kanoi pipe, which I'm going to do another video about because I see I'm at 13 minutes. Anyway, then we went through. I met with Grant Batson, a whole bunch of other pipe makers, David Huber. And then right before we left, I looked at these from a Ukrainian carver, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'm sure you can find them on scanned pipes. Just click on the Ukrainian, and you'll see the pipes I'm talking about. But he carves a pipe inside of a net. So the outer part of the pipe is like a net, but it's all out of one piece of briar. It is just astonishing how those pipes look. I was afraid to touch those. They looked very fragile. I'm sure they weren't as fragile as they looked, but they just looked too nice. Like lace, too nice to touch. And then I hung out the rest of the afternoon after the pipe show in the smoking tent and chatted with some YouTubers, Smoking Pipeliner and the Northern Bohemian, and a few others. So that was great. And we left shortly after that, and I'm at 15 minutes. So I'll catch you in the next video.